Alright, welcome to this module. Now, after we go through this module, my goal is to achieve a few things with you because the money is where the secret sauce is for sure on any flip deal. Got to get our money straight, right? Number one, understanding the importance of paying in full. Second, how to attract financial partners for deals when need be. Number three, financing deals through borrowing. Number four, financing through partnerships with other investors. And the fifth thing, understanding when to borrow, when you should partner with someone on a deal. All right, let's get started. So, you've probably seen bandit signs and billboards that say, "We buy ugly homes" or "We'll buy your house cash." This is right in line with what house flipping is all about. It's not saying that you're pulling up to someone's house with a trunk full of cash in the back of the ride. What it is alluding to is that the seller is being paid in full at the closing or made whole without a long drawn out waiting process. You're not owner financing the deal. And a lot of times, a lot of investors are using hard money. So we want to accomplish this by attracting the right financial investment partners to make this happen. People that will provide the cash you need to pay for a house in full in closing, and more importantly than that, you can get a deal done very quickly because in house flipping and these deals that we're going to be doing, time is a sensitive thing. So how do we attract these financial investment partners? I know that's the big question you gotta have. It's about running the numbers and putting together an investment summary analysis, which you can now do in the Flip app very easily. And what this does is it truly demonstrates to your potential investment partners that you've done the due diligence on the project and that you have a really good grasp on what the deal is going to take to complete. And it puts the investors at ease that at the end of the day, they won't be holding the bag on a project that's supposed to be completed months back and is underfinanced and half finished. Let me put it like this. I know we all have heard of blueprints. Well, if not the blueprints to a house or anything like that is involved, this is the roadmap to construction. The process of a project, and the same holds true with having a good investment summary analysis, an estimate of your potential project, and understanding where the money is coming from, where the money is going, and having a clear picture of your complete financial goals. That's why we want to do this up front. Okay, so you're going to want to detail the following things within your investment summary analysis. First thing, your qualification as an investor. If you don't have an established relationship with a private money lender, they're going to ask you, what type of projects have you done before, what, your experience is, even if you've got experience doing some type of light construction work or you've done some type of investments before. They're going to want to know where your experience is coming in, or they're going to want to know if you have some type of partner that has some type of experience. Ultimately, what they're going to want to know is how are you going to get the project done, and do you have the capacity to get the project done. Next thing is the property details, including the address, the layout, square footage, and the year the property is built. Ultimately, your lender is going to do some due diligence on the property as well, so you're going to want to know this information. Next thing is your maximum offer. Include the assumptions that were part of the analysis. The summary of the analysis you performed to determine the eventual selling price. How'd you come up with that number? The summary of the analysis you performed to estimate the improvement costs, the must-dos, the should-dos, and the could-dos. Also, the assumptions you use to calculate quiet costs. How did you come up with those numbers? And then from there, most importantly, how and when the financial investors are going to receive their return on their investment. When do you expect to be finished with the project? And what's your timeline to completing the entire thing and getting the property sold? The cool thing is, as an investor pro within the Flip app, you'll have the power of all these tools in the palm of your hand, the ability to be able to deliver the metrics to your potential investment partners seamlessly. So there are a couple ways we can attack getting money. borrowing money from a lender or partnering up with an investor. Borrowing money from a lender involves getting a loan to acquire the property and for any costs that you aren't paying out of your own pocket, any soft costs or anything like that. You truly have two options when it comes to borrowing money, which is going the institutional route with traditional banks or working with private money lenders, or what we call hard money lenders. Personally, I like to go with the hard money route because to me, speed is of the essence to get into the deal and get cranking so we can get the ball rolling on the project and working towards making a profit. This is not to say you don't want a good traditional lender on deck. In the case of that, if you want to take out a loan to refinance the property to keep a deal so you can cash flow the rental income. At that point, you definitely want some traditional financing on the back end so you can amortize your financing over 20 to 30 years. I look at hard money as like having a business partner, essentially, but it comes in the form of obtaining financing. Look at it like this. A rich man digs for gold while a poor man is concerned with how much the shovel costs. What I mean by this is that you could spend a lot of time wasted evaluating a ton of different lenders and saying, oh, well, this one's rates are too high. You're charging too much on the interest. I want to go with traditional financing. The way I look at it, a lot of times with traditional financing, underwriting those loans takes anywhere from 45 to 60 days. In 45 to 60 days, I could have already closed on the property, started rehab, finished rehab, put the house back on the market, and be ready to close. So that's why I say sometimes dealing with hard money is a better option because I can get in and out of these deals quicker. Don't worry about how much the show costs. Be smart about it. Run your numbers, run your metrics. But when you got a deal, get in the deal, make it happen, perform, and get out. Inside the Flip app, as an Investor Pro member, you're going to have access to a huge database of private money lenders from all over to help you finance deals. And it's essential you connect with these lenders as well, because with private money, the decision to make the loan is not simply based on your ability to repay the loan, but rather the current or future value of the property. At the end of the day, hard money lenders will be in the first lien position, which means that if the borrower defaults, they ultimately will end up with the property. And of course, at the end of the day, they'll turn around and sell the property and make a profit for themselves. Now, we don't want this to happen, but I'm just giving you the full light on everything. So what these industry leaders may not want you to know is that they're all chomping at the bit and jockeying for position to lend money for their next great deal. They want to get this money out bad. They want you definitely to make money because they love establishing long-term relationships with responsible and profitable business clients that will perform. But at the end of the day, everyone is in the business to make a profit. So you need to go into this with your eyes wide open because they focus on the after repair value of the property. Hard money lenders will typically lend up to 75% of the after repair value and not over 90% of the loan to cost. So on the project. So simply put, if the ARV of a property is 200 grand and the lender is given 75% after repair value, then they'll not lend you more than 150,000. If you need more money, let's say 160 grand, then you'll have to use 10K of your own money. Let's take a close look, a close comparison at institutional lending versus hard money lending. That way you can see the difference between the two. In contrast, you'll have the option of partnering on a flip with an additional investor. The stark difference is that you're not incurring the additional cost of the money because at the end of the day, you're splitting profits with whomever you're partnering up with. In this case, you may be the person who is bringing the deal to the table and the sweat equity of managing the project, while the other person or investor per se that you've partnered up with is providing the downstroke of the cash. For these deals, like all deals, we recommend creating a separate legal entity for each deal in order to protect yourself personally from any type of liability. I would suggest you consult with an attorney in setting up a legal entity for your projects. This should give you some great direction in terms of making the right decision, in terms of getting your deal financed. Make sure that you compare multiple offers though from these lenders and just weigh your options, and go negotiate on them, because the money is definitely available for the deals. The question simply is, at the end of the day, how profitable will you be on each deal? Thank you once again for joining us in Module 9. And in our next Module 10, we're going to discuss making an offer to the seller for the property that you're wanting to flip. All this information that we've just covered with financing is key. If you've got any questions, reach out to me on the Facebook Mastermind group. I'd be happy to break down more in depth, any questions that you have about financing, and just really go into detail how the money works and what it means to you. The Flip app is a great tool that we've talked about throughout this whole course that you can use. But like I said, if you have any additional questions, just reach out to us in the Facebook Mastermind group, and we'll be happy to help you. Remember, it's Will Garner with Flip, and you're one flip away.